Good evening, everyone. TSB Television and Community Hoops continues its coverage of the Breakdown Sports USA Tip-Off Classic presented by East Bay. A huge matchup is awaiting us. Lakeville, North, and Hopkins, two powerhouses in 4A, a possible state tournament preview. Stick around, this exciting match will start shortly. I'm Mike Peden, joined by Broderick Bell. Lakeville, North, and Hopkins, you don't need to say much more than that.
Yes, you just told us.
Let's play ball.
Play ball, indeed. All right, so before they play ball, let's take a look at the keys to the game. We'll start with Hopkins. First, they'll want to play their style of basketball. Don't go away from it. Of course, with both teams up-tempo, wanting to press, that's difficult. But the other thing, don't fall into the hype. This is a big game, but it's early December.
Hopkins likes to move the ball around.
I got the most.
They like to play that 4-on-1 offense and basically find the open person and shoot the ball.
And for Lakeville North, their keys are to score inside, be mentally sound, don't fall into traps, and don't make silly decisions, and utilize their depth, because Hopkins is a team that is very strong.
Oh, absolutely.
So that concludes our keys to the game. Let's take a look at the starting lineups. We'll begin with the visiting Lakeville North Panthers. Jaya Perkins will get the start, along with Rachel Banham, the Gopher recruit, Epi Ojulu, Marquette recruit, Taylor Stewart, and Mackenzie Holman. Rachel Banham had a big weekend to open the season in the Pat Patterson tournament. Minnesota recruit, obviously Lakeville North's marquee player, so to speak, but they have a lot, and so does Hopkins. Starting for the Royals, it's Brianna Williams, Julia Weimer, Ebony Livingston, Sydney Coffey, and Gracia Hudson. Hopkins also has a lot of talented players. Sydney Coffey, their big player. But really, for both these teams, anyone can be a big threat.
What we need to do now is see what direction they're going to go with this. I'm curious to see how Lakeville's how they're going to promote their up tempo. Are they going to play in-your-face defense and pressure them and get them off the ball, or are they going to stay just in front of their guy, get the ball, and force Hopkins to make a mistake and just transition after that?
To set the stage, this could be the first big challenge for both these teams. Lakeville North won their 3 games convincingly, winning Bracket A in the Pat Patterson tournament, including the win over Osseo in the final, and then they beat De La Salle by 35 points, limiting the Islanders to 7 second-half points.
Well, we'll see what's going on. Here we go. We have to wait and see what happens when they throw up the ball.
And Hopkins also coming in, not really challenged. They won Bracket C of the Pat Patterson tournament easily, and then took on St. Michael Albertville in a contest that they won handily. So 2 dominant teams.
This should be something.
Lakeville North will have a 35-game winning streak on the line.
They sure look like they got some height and size out there, huh?
Definitely. They were undefeated last season, of course, and they won their first 3 games. Hopkins could be the best team to take down that streak, although we saw Eastview earlier, they could too. But let's begin this clash of Titans. And the crowd is big. Lakeville North in white, Hopkins in black. Oh, I love those Duke-style jerseys on Hopkins. They look very sleek.
Well, they play very good defense.
Oh yes, they're aggressive, they're fast. You have to make every possession count if you're a Hopkins opponent, because Coffey will get the steal. Here she comes, and Banham draws a foul, but that was smart. Banham will make Coffey earn those points on the free throw line.
Absolutely. I like what Hopkins is doing with their defense. They're staying in front of people. They have people in the gaps, and they have people coming over helping. They're playing really, really good fundamental defense, half-court defense. Aggressive, get in a person's face.
This match loaded with college prospects, of course, and Coffey misses her first. Coffey, 6-foot junior guard. Hopkins sent a lot of players over the years to D1 schools as Coffey gets the back end. Stephanie Senshin is one such player. She plays at Wisconsin Green Bay after originally going to the Air Force. Leslie Knight, the former Gopher.
Hands is in the passing lanes, fronting the post. That's exactly, the midline going there. Oh, great defense by Hopkins.
And a steal and another foul. This one on Holman. Ebony Livingston with the strip.
Lakeville's going to have to take their time and spread the ball out and pick that defense apart. Otherwise, they're going to have some problems. Right now, Hopkins is dictating as to how they want Lakeville how to play ball.
Lakeville North, while I haven't seen it in their first 3 games, I watched them play in the Pat Patterson tournament. And that overthrown Livingston. Complacency, because they haven't lost in over a year. They are the defending 4A champions, and right now the favorite to win again. So you might think, well, they might get complacent, think we have this in the bag, but you see already, they don't think so. They're coming to play. And so is Hopkins.
I am impressed with Hopkins' defense right now. Whether they can maintain that the whole game is something to be seen. Playing defense like that means you must have a bench, because this is the way that coach wants to play defense. Look at him, all over that post. Can't make the easy post entry.
Top to bottom, you're going to see a lot of talent on both sides.
In fact, the post defense made the low post person for Lakeville relocate in order for her to get the ball.
Banham can't get the tough shot. That was Ojula you were referring to, number 20. She's heading to Marquette next year. Banham, got to be careful. You don't want to get 2 quick fouls early. No zone defense here. It's going to be all man.
Lakeville's not going to back down, no.
Livingston, bullseye! And Hopkins takes a 4-0 lead. Hopkins, very athletic, can give opponents fits anywhere in the court. Outstanding defense, they're gritty, and we've seen that already. They're not afraid to get dirty. They're not cute. Banham isn't cute either. She can't get it. Lakeville North struggled like that, though, against De La Salle before going on that big second-half run.
Did you see that shot? You saw nothing but black and blue all around the basket. You didn't see not one white in that shot after that. I know Lakeville coach is going to make some adjustments on that. He's going to have to be a little more aggressive on the offensive board. Otherwise, Hopkins is going to make it just one and done, and that's it.
Interestingly, Andy Bergvam and Brian Cosgrove, the head coaches of both schools, they're really good friends, and they try not to schedule matches against each other. But the folks at the breakdown asked if this was all right, because they figured, how do we get interest early? And so they agreed to it. You know, they're both playing down the hype, as most coaches will, in December. As we pointed out, you don't win championships here.
You know, that was a good deflection on a block shot that last time. She never left her feet. She just got her hand in the shooting lane.
Racing down, and the layup is number 5 for Hopkins. Taylor Anderson with the first basket of the game for the Royals.
Boy, they're playing good defense.
Are you sure we're not seeing Duke out there?
No, I'm telling you, they're playing good defense. It looks Krzyzewski-esque, doesn't it? Look at it. The only thing we don't have is the floor slap.
Or the Cameron Crazies. Jaya Perkins going to Taylor Stewart.
Oh, nice pick by Lakeville. Boy, I'll tell you
And
what.
another steal. Coffey's open. You know what she'll do? No! Offensive foul on Hopkins. It must have been away from the ball.
That's an interesting call.
Foul number 22 for the Royals. Starks.
It's on TT Starks. It must have been away from the ball. We didn't quite see it. I didn't quite see it. And Lakeville North will call a timeout. 14:46. Down 6-0, early timeout. You think he's trying to get his kids back together?
He's not happy with his offense.
Oh, no. He's not done yet.
No. His defense is going to keep him in the game, though. I like what Lakeville's doing.
While we're on the subject of Lakeville North, we'd like to give a welcome to Annie Berkrum's mother. She watches a lot of the Lakeville North games. She lives in Arizona, so she can't come up and see a lot of games, but thanks to the web and services like grandstadium.tv, she can get a taste of what her son's doing.
Hi, Mom.
And hopefully Brian's parents are watching, or his relatives. Look at this crowd. Oh, you know they were going to pack this.
Look at that defense there, all over on the floor. There you go. You know, that's exactly how you tell it. Don't leave one teammate on the floor. Everyone gets on the floor. That is great scrum there.
Lakeville North getting a challenge like they haven't seen before in the early portion of the season. And they're not done. They've got a tough Eden Prairie team to deal with next Friday. They did lose to Hill Murray earlier today, which you can watch on grandstadium.tv. Livingston from the corner. She is found her stroke.
Nice shot.
Hopkins scoring the first 9 points of this contest. Ojulu, she can score 2, and she's going to the line.
I think that's what's going to happen if Hopkins extends their defense. You're going to have your big men going one-on-one to the bar and basically fouling out everybody.
What's on the line? Obviously, bragging rights, of course. The #1 ranking in the state, and perhaps the spot as tournament favorite to win the 4A state title.
Colander and Stewart returning to the Panthers. Into the game for the Royals, number 45.
And of course, Lakeville North's 35-game winning streak. So a lot on the line. However, this is a December match. If these two teams play each other again, as Brian told me, he's hoping he gets a rematch perhaps on March 19th at 8:30. And Banham with the steal.
But that was pressure and transition after a steal. So what Lakeville's going to do is they're going to apply some pressure themselves.
Well, Lakeville North, they're a good pressure team as well.
One shot.
They don't play each other much, but they essentially know each other's games in the sense that it's a very up-tempo, very pressure-style defense.
Absolutely. The only way to play basketball, by the way.
Banham with the three-point play. Breakdown Sports and their pregame notes joke that Banham could give Pam Borton
a 2-2-1 defense.
Could give Pam Borton job security. Although she's doing pretty well right now for the Gophers with the young team that they have.
Absolutely, he's staying right in that two. It looks like a 2-1-2.
Brianna Williams, the future North Dakota recruits.
It's interesting what zones do to offenses. It slows you down.
New player in for Hopkins. Michaela Shackelford, 44. Out of bounds, Hopkins ball. Oh, that crowd's getting loud. Also in the game for Hopkins, we mentioned earlier, TT Starks, and now they're slowing things down a bit.
That's the zone slowing them down.
Feed and the basket by Shannon O'Toole.
I like the way Hopkins countered that zone and went and picked the elbow so the guard could get by. She dribbles by the pick real fast, and the person that was coming to help was the person down from the bottom, and they found somebody open in the baseline.
11-4. Hopkins. Simone Colander can't get the board, and it's picked up by Brianna Williams.
Transition. Push, push, push.
Push and back off a bit.
We're pushing the ball. Nothing like pushing the ball.
Lakeville North going back to staying in that man. It looks like a zone. Anderson was open.
Oh, she should have kept her feet.
And she missed the short-range shot. Banham is stripped by Hopkins and has no choice but to foul Brianna Williams. Or no, TT Starks. That's 2 fouls on Banham. That's exactly what Hopkins wants to do. She's the only player with a field goal for the Panthers.
Starks for the Royals on the line to shoot 2.
Massive substitution.
TT Starks, 8th grade guard, 5'9". An 8th grader getting varsity minutes on the second string, essentially, for Hopkins. You don't see that too often.
No.
I know you had your comment about 8th graders and freshmen, but TT Starks gets on the board. And Hopkins has such a strong program. In the last 6 seasons, 150-30. They had the best record of the last decade among high school teams, but only 2 state titles to show for it. And the coaching staff said they've been away from the state tournament stage for too long. Last going in 06 when they won it all. Perkins, the runner, no. And Colander gets the rebound, but loses it to Julia Weimer. Coffee back in for the Royals. Coffee. No baskets. Great shot, got everything but the roll. And a Hopkins foul.
Fouls on Hopkins, number 43, Hudson, her second.
That's on Hudson. She has 2. And she
She's
was
coming out right now.
They're keeping Banham in, though. That's an interesting move. Now they take her out. Banham's got 2 fouls as well. Things are getting loud over in the other court, De La Salle, Minnetonka. I swear, I think we're at Target Center right now. Perkins for 3. No. And it's picked up by Williams. Loses the handle, and Holman with the steal. Oh, Tony would love to see this.
Lakeville's doing a good job of moving the ball around. Be patient. Oh, great spin
Colander
move.
with the hole and can't finish. It's off of Lakeville North.
You know what? The difference is that once she gets her upper body strength, that she's going to be some kind of player. That was a great spin move.
Colander's 6'1", freshman forward.
That explained it. Thank you.
Sophomore, I should say. I shortchanged her a bit, but younger player, didn't play on the varsity team last year, didn't get many minutes. Coffee draws the block against Ojulu.
Zulu tried to get a charge and her feet weren't set.
You got to be set or you're going to get called for blocking. Coffee, the Marist recruits, shooting 2.
Panther team foul. Coffee for the Royals at the line to shoot 2.
And free throws, not a strong suit for Hopkins early. You never know, it could come back to haunt them later. We've seen that happen many times already. I'd say we're almost packed. Misses both, and Ojulu with the rebound, but here comes the Hopkins pressure. There's a 10-second call, and Banham's by herself. No 10-second rule, but she loses it to Brianna Williams. She had no help. She was asking for it. Coffee drives. No! Lakeville North ball.
I don't think Hopkins has set up a play yet. It's all been transition. Pass and cut, pass and cut. It's early in the year. It's December. They don't get things set up yet. But I like what they're doing, especially on defense. They have some real intensity out there.
10:27 left. It's still 12-4. Hopkins over Lakeville North. And Brian Cosgrove, very down to earth, just not going into the hype. He wants to get a state title, and I asked him, well, what does it mean?
Look
Oh
at
my
that
goodness.
pick there, huh?
Brianna Williams will get a steal and a basket out of that.
Brianna Williams.
Her first field goal. I asked him, what does it mean to have the Tip-Off Classic at this facility. He says, well, it just gives us another home game. Banham. No, that's been a microcosm of Lakeville North's game so far. But this is a team that can fight back. And almost on cue, Hannah Hughes cleans it up. This was a team that was back and forth with De La Salle in the first half before they went on that big second half run. And there's a foul.
He's pleading with them to get their hands up, get their hands in the passing lane.
Fouls on Holman.
Lakeville's 45, Holman, her second personal. 15 foul.
Her second, fouling about even. Now, an interesting note by the breakdown. I'll get to that point in a second. Now we're going to get to see Hopkins on another set offense here. We haven't seen too much of that yet. New player in for Hopkins.
There's that 4-1 offense. And just move the ball around and try to find the open person.
Pays off for Shannon O'Toole.
It's interesting because it's the same offense the guys run.
Fouls on the Royals, number 23, Jaycock.
Well, the Hopkins boys know a few things about winning state titles. I'm sure there's a little bit of sharing between the two.
Could be.
I would think so.
One or two.
Chelsea Jakix is in the game for Hopkins, and we've seen 10 players take the floor already for the Royals. Hughes for 3, no good. And a Hopkins foul. Brian Cosgriff not happy with the call. We've seen 10 Hopkins players take the floor, and Cosgriff is having a discussion with the ref. He's not happy. Hopkins out of fouls to give now. Banham with just 3 points. Stewart in traffic, makes it work.
Taylor Stewart.
And for Lakeville North, that's just immediate focus. Get a basket, get a little rhythm, and things will fall into place. Jaycox, no foul called. Good by Ojulu, but Banham went around and loses it, and Jaycox will score out for that turnover.
Tell you what, Hopkins is really working hard out there.
They are really.
They're getting after it. Boy, it's fun to see kids play like this.
They're getting after it, and they're making Lakeville North pay for the turnovers.
Oh, absolutely.
Traveling violation. You can tell Lakeville North has not had this kind of challenge all season.
Great pressure on the ball.
You know this is going to be a good primer. I know it's early, but when these two teams go into their sections, having the knowledge of playing two teams that run very similar styles.
What Lakeville has to do is keep playing and try to negate some of the energy that Hopkins has right now. I'll tell you what, Hopkins is really bringing it.
And now Hopkins turns it over.
A little turnover here, a foul there, and next thing you know, Lakeville will be back in this game before half is out.
They're only down 10, 8:06 left.
Piece of cake.
So you're right. Hopkins with the full court. Banham can't handle it. Lakeville North was lucky they didn't turn it over again.
Oh.
Ojulu works her way around and gets the layup.
Nice up and under by Ojulu.
Williams feeds to Starks, and she's blocked by Colander.
Hannah Hughes returns.
Lakeville North, if they come back, if they do beat Hopkins and they beat Eden Prairie next Friday, the breakdown said it's possible they could make another undefeated run for the state title. I think it's a little early to be making those things. A traveling call on Anderson. Because you still have the South Suburban, where you've got Kennedy, where you've got Eastview to deal with, and there are no pushovers.
Yes.
But if Lakeville North gets through these last two non-conference games with victories, they definitely will be the favorite.
Look at that defense.
Hopkins looking to say something about that. Pressure defense everywhere. And one! Brianna Williams.
Calls on 32, the Lakeville Stewart. Her first 16 foul. Coffee returns for Hopkins. Number 15, not on it. Returns.
Both teams out of fouls to give.
Basket by Brianna Williams was good. She'll shoot one shot.
It's fun!
Another missed free throw. And another Hopkins rebound. Another traveling violation. This time Shackelford is the guilty party.
I'll tell you, they're trying to run that 4-round one, and they're trying to expose them. And what Lakeville's doing is they're getting their feet up under them, and they're starting to get better defense. It's a matter of time. I think this is going to be a ball game that's going to come right down to the wire.
Another steal. Coffee again. Finds an open Anderson.
But right now, their offense is like lead in their shoes or something. They're not moving towards the ball. Hopkins seems to be beating them to the spots. There's a pass, good play there.
And a backdoor cut gives Calander a layup. Her first field goal. For three, that's Coffee. Bullseye!
Right now, Hopkins is on fire. Lakeville needs to find a hose.
Stewart's. No.
That's not going to do it.
Hopkins just too fast for that. Anderson traveled. Hopkins, they might have a bigger lead right now, but they're having a few miscues, mainly travel.
You know, I'm impressed with their offense. You see how they do those long diagonal cross cuts? Cross passes? That's to move Lakeville's defense and then expose to the one-on-one because they're quick. That's what Hopkins wants to do. One-on-one, I can take you to the hole. Find the mismatches.
And look at this.
Him get on the floor. Holy cow.
And a foul on Hopkins.
You have to love that kind of basketball. Right now, with 5 minutes and 57 seconds left to go in the game, Hopkins has demonstrated that they want this game more. Lakeville needs to go ahead and show some ownership and basically cowboy up and go get this. Otherwise, it's going to get out of their hands. Lakeville is quite capable of coming back.
You don't make an undefeated run without some talent.
No.
No free throws, though. Even though Hopkins in the bonus, jump ball, Lakeville North possession. Lakeville North in the bonus, but they couldn't capitalize. They're just not getting shots to fall right now, but if they find a stroke, look out. This game isn't over yet. And another steal, Shackelford.
They're just quicker than them right now. They're anticipating the passing lanes. It's unbelievable. There's an open shot. Boom.
And a Lakeville North foul. It's a 1-and-1 situation.
Fouls on number 23. Hughes for first.
It all depends on how Hopkins is shooting their free throws. If they start shooting free throws poorly, look for Lakeville to do a little more fouling just so they can get the ball back.
You were saying? Shannon O'Toole says, I'll take that miss and turn it into 2 points. Everything going right for Hopkins in the opening half. Banham, the runner, draws the foul. But that's what Lakeville North needs to do. Draw some fouls, stop things, get yourself a chance to recollect.
That's correct.
This place is loud.
That's because they have a few people in here.
A few? There's almost as many as a Gopher women's game. And Hopkins doing a great job at limiting Banham's production. She only has 5 points. And another backdoor to Coffey, but she loses the handle. And it's a jump ball. Hopkins will keep possession, but Lakeville North stopped an easy 2.
Tell you what, Lakeville needs to start showing some ownership for this game. Otherwise, it's going to get out of hand in a hurry.
Coffey for 3. Everything going in for Hopkins, even the bounces. And another Hopkins foul. Double bonus now.
This is a good chance for Lakeville to get back in the game without the clock moving.
That last 3 gave Coffey 7 points. And you want to know just how good Hopkins is. Very balanced scoring. Coffey has 7. Livingston and O'Toole both have 6. If you're on Hopkins, you better be ready to play.
Stewart to shoot the double bonus.
You need to make the free throws.
It's gone both ways, but Hopkins getting all their shots to fall, so their free throw issues aren't as prevalent.
Down 15, holy cow. Stop and pop.
No good from Weimer. Ojulu's open. Going for it. Tough layup! And it goes in! And the blocking foul on Ojulu. That was clear. She wasn't set.
Yeah, it's the second time she's tried that.
Fouls are piling up on both ends.
It's number 2 for her. The coach is going to have to make a decision. Looks like he's going to the bench. He's going to pull her.
Hopkins with the advantage when it comes to depth. Coffey at the line. Double bonus now, both teams. And we still have 4:21 left in the half. We might be here a while.
Things have stopped, that is for sure. Goes back to a saying before, basketball's a strange old dog. That 4-minute mark is when things get kind of crazy with the halves.
Especially in December. Coffey with 9. Stewart loses it.
Nice crossover.
Anderson to Coffey, but Hughes breaks it up, and Hopkins will have to reset.
Oh yeah, the breaks seem to be going Hopkins' way. They threw it away off, it deflected off of Lakeville's hands, and they still get the ball.
Hopkins slowing things down a bit.
Oh, she's open. Boom.
Traveling violation on Starks. She stepped before she dribbled.
She stepped through it. It was nice.
Lakeville North, they can get this down to within 10. That would certainly give them some confidence heading into the locker room.
Absolutely.
Although this was a team that took care of De La Salle when they couldn't break 3. But they can't seem to find their 3-pointers. Hughes missed another one, but Stewart raises it for the rebound. And Williams with the steal and the score.
Beautiful defense. Beautiful defense by Williams.
I love how Hopkins just anticipates the
And
pass.
put their hands in the passing lane.
They're not basketball players, they're quarterbacks. Anderson with another steal.
They're playing excellent defense right now.
And Coffey will draw the foul.
It's real simple. When the ball is rotated to one side, you got all the Hopkins over there on one side. They're helping defense. The person at the point of attack is in front of that person, forcing them to do things that they don't want to do. You're looking at a clinic on how to play defense, and it's being taught by Hopkins.
You might want to get a copy of this and show that to your kids the next time you're at practice, or if someone else comes to you. You can get your own.
Absolutely.
You can get your own copy by visiting grandstadium.tv and clicking the purchase DVD link to get your copy of this game.
Chelsea Jaycox.
3:06 remaining, and Hopkins up 35-17. This is the most offense we've seen in a single half, at least from one team.
Nice crossover to get rid of her. Oh,
Banham. And when you're a Minnesota recruit and one of the top players in the state, you know how to make that finish.
nice crossover. Got rid of the recruit. That was it.
On the other end, Hopkins with the answer. Chelsea Jaycox has 4. Pressure defense again from Hopkins. Banham draws a foul.
Fouls at number 5, Taylor Anderson for first. Panthers in the double bonus.
Tell you what,
Bottom.
I think Hopkins has scouted Lakeville.
And remember, Bergstrom and Cosgriff are very good friends, so they might have some insight into each other's style. So in some ways, they almost scout each other in that sense. That's why they try not to schedule matchups with each other. And in the Pat Patterson tournament, that's why Hopkins and Lakeville North went in different brackets.
Yeah.
But when you're good friends, I'm sure after this, especially for a December match, they might hang out someplace after the game for a little ice cream or a little appetizer, something like that.
Dance recital and 4 basketball games.
Can't finish. Jaycox. And a jump ball. Lakeville North will keep possession. Give credit to Maddie Sorella for keeping that alive.
Lower to the ground. Reed's game.
No, it's Reed's coach.
If Lakeville North could string some things together, Williams, another great steal. No basket. Lakeville North, they have to figure out a way to respond to that Hopkins anticipation. Banham draws the blocking foul before the shot, but it's a double bonus. Lakeville North, they're getting some breaks, but if they can string some together, create some momentum.
Oh, absolutely. But Hopkins' defense is preventing them from doing that.
The full court. Lakeville North hasn't found an answer yet to the full court press.
He's extended his defense and he likes it. So there it is.
If he could, he probably would extend his defense to the out-of-bounds line, but...
oh, absolutely. Well, you know, he has a
allowed.
bench, and when you have a bench, you can do that. It's a fun kind of basketball.
Heck, I think Cosgriff was hoping there'd be a football field. He'd send his whole defense out there. Just have them cover the entire field.
It's like Lakeville's trying to extend their defense now.
And here's the dichotomy, or the irony of all this. Bantam leads all players with 11 points, the only player in double figures in this game. For Lakeville North, that is. Sidney Coffey has 10.
There's a good block.
Stewart
There's
with the
another
block.
one.
And Sorella adds one. What do we say? Lakeville North
Yeah.
stringing some breaks.
Oh, yeah. They just need to capitalize and score.
Stewart gets the
Another
ball
steal.
poked away again.
2-on-1.
Williams to
There it is.
Jaycox.
From Williams.
And this kid's only going to North Dakota. 5-second violation. Colander can't get rid of it in time. You're telling me this Brianna Williams kid is going to North Dakota?
Division I.
You mean to tell me a Power 6 school didn't take a look at her?
That's a little different place.
It's Division I.
Mid-major, but you're right. Division I.
Maybe she wants to get an education. North Dakota's known for their education.
Michaela Shackelford back in the game for the Royals. Her shot's blocked, but Hopkins keeps possession.
Well, I tell you what, Hopkins is getting all over these people. This is going to get ugly real quick now.
Coffee. Bang! 42-23. Desperation, great, it goes in! Taylor Stewart's like, oh, what the heck? Nothing else is working, I'll try that out.
She's only in 10th grade.
She's open. There's
Coffee
Pike.
again. Not this time. And an over the back call on Hopkins. Free throws coming. That's going to be the key to watch for Hopkins. They are deep, but they've racked up a lot of fouls, and that's something.
That mounts up in the second half.
Exactly. St. Paul Central lost to Eastview when their top two players went out with foul trouble. And Eastview struggled in the first half when they had to send their three captains to the bench because of foul trouble.
Well, Hopkins has a loaded bench. I mean, he's got energy on that bench. He might be all right. He sure are coming after him.
The home court advantage paying off big time for the Royals.
Brianna Williams and Gracia Hudson return.
Oh,
What's going on over there?
yeah, but it's not. They must be running way behind.
One of two. Hughes is 42-27. Hopkins can hope for the final shot. That sounds strange given their up-tempo style, but they're a very disciplined team.
Well, remember you talked about foul trouble before.
5-second violation on Hopkins.
Needed to pass that one. I don't know whether that was a 5-second call or not. But when you're in foul trouble, you know, it's easier to play offense than it is defense. So move the ball around and not get any more people in foul trouble. Because Hopkins is bringing it when it comes to defense. They're not messing around. Look at that 2-on-1 person throwing the ball. They don't want her to get the ball at all right now. All over her.
Talander inside, kicks out to
Open.
Hughes for three. No. Right idea, but no basket. And Hopkins with a chance to put an exclamation point on this half. Coffee, count it! Oh my goodness. What is Andy Bertram going to tell his Lakeville North Panthers at halftime?
Calm down.
Wait, is that them or are you talking to me?
No. I think that's one of the things. I mean, there was a lot of energy that was spent by
And a
Hopkins.
4-point play. Shannon O'Toole with the cleanup. 46-27. Hopkins dominating the first half. Everywhere. Defense, offense, you name it. Holy cow.
They did a wonderful job of defense. I'll tell you what, you can't get real. You got to be really excited about Hopkins' defense. On the other hand, Eden Prairie needs to calm down, move the ball around, and start making, getting their way back in this game. This game is not out of reach. They just need to be patient, move the ball around, and play solid defense on their end. Stop Hopkins from doing what they want to do.
19-point deficit, but we've seen big deficits overcome, and Lakeville North knows a thing or two about adversity already. Stick around. Second half coming up next. This game not over. And welcome back to the Breakdown Sports USA Tip-Off Classic presented by East Bay as TSB Television and Community Hoops continue its coverage. Hopkins and Lakeville North, the marquee matchup of the evening. Hopkins up 19, 46-27, and it's all because of Hopkins' pressure style of play.
Defense, defense, defense. Defense wins championships like anything else. I'll tell you, they run very seldom have they run any sets. The sets they run is they game 4 around 1 offense. Most of the time they're stealing the ball and they're transitioning. That's the way you play basketball early in December. Just let's get your sea legs underneath you. Let's play a little defense and let's get it on. Lakeville needs to go ahead and make some extra passes, force that defense to move around, and then finish after they make good passes.
This game's not over by any means, and so we're going to take a look at the first half stats for you. Leading scorers, Sidney Coffey ran away with 15 points in the first half. Shannon O'Toole has 8 off the bench, and then Williams, Livingston, and Jaycox all have 6. For Lakeville North, Bantam leads with 11, Stewart has 6, Ojulu has 5, Hughes has 3, and Colander has 2, and that's been the difference. Lakeville North not getting much support, Hopkins getting support from everybody. We'd like to remind you, if you want to purchase a DVD copy of this program, just click the purchase DVD link at the top of the page to get a copy of this and all 13 games from the Breakdown Sports USA Tip-Off Classic. Hopkins wearing the black jerseys, Lakeville North wearing white.
I'll be curious to see if Hopkins can maintain the same energy that they had in the first half. There's the first steal by Lakeville.
It's Jaya Perkins, and that's going to be the other key. Can Lakeville North find a way to bounce back? They have not faced this kind of adversity in a very long time. As we mentioned, 35-game winning streak on the line, number 1 ranking, and perhaps number 1 favorite to win 4A. Brianna Williams continuing her performance with a layup after getting that steal.
Brianna Williams is the straw that stirs the drink. I'll tell you what, she's the key person, key component on defense, and definitely the key component on offense. Look at that defense there. Oh,
another steal. Here comes Coffey.
Here they come. Boom.
Bantam blocks,
Back up.
but no one there. And that leaves a wide open Weimer for the cleanup. That's Weimer's first field goal. Foul on Hopkins. It will go against Williams.
Lakeville seems to be in total disarray right now. Coach cannot be happy about this.
Ojulu, tie-up.
The worst thing to do when you're in the pivot like that and you have a swarming defense to put the ball down below. She put the ball down as to make a step, a move, and boom, they were all over that thing. high up in the shoulder area when you're in the post.
Stewart, the runner. No good.
One and done, huh? Hopkins is just moving the ball.
Coffee stops, pops. Holy cow. Hopkins with the first 3 baskets in this half. And things spiraling out of control for the Panthers.
Great pick.
And a foul on Lakeville North.
They're just playing tough defense.
It's on Banham, that's number 3.
First team foul.
O'Toole. No, that was Hudson. Hopkins with a 2-to-1 edge. Banham stops the bleeding, but they still have a 25-point deficit to overcome. And an offensive foul on Hopkins.
He called it down below on the post. She was moving the post person out.
Second team foul.
Fouls on Hudson. That's 2. Hughes back in for the Panthers. Ojulu running inside, gets the layup. Hopkins doing a great job at shutting down Ojulu in the first half. Williams for 3. Not this time. Perkins with the rebound. Here comes the pressure again. And Stewart draws the foul.
Well, you have to be impressed with the way Hopkins gets back.
Foul number 12, Brianna Williams, her second.
Fouls on Williams, her second.
Third team foul. T.T. Starks returns for Hopkins.
T.T. Starks going back in for the Royals.
Number 14, Amanda Goodman.
Ojulu. She made something out of nothing there.
Absolutely.
On Lakeville North, Amanda Goodman was in trouble, found Ojulu, and Ojulu puts it in for 9. Williams makes some space for herself, but is short on the shot. And Weimer's there to clean it up.
Up and under with the left hand, huh? Nice job. Up, she leaked out.
Foul on Hopkins. It will be charged to Weimer.
Foul number 14, Winger, her first. Fourth team foul. Number 14, Goodman behind. Will shoot 2.
Hopkins is fouling too much early. It's 14:36 left to go in the half, and we've got 14 fouls already.
Up by 23.
Lakeville needs to capitalize on their free throws here. They need to go ahead and get themselves back in the game, and one of the ways they can do it is to make free throws. Oh, that's got to drive Coach nuts.
Oh, that makes it a good foul.
Yes.
Goodman with the steal.
Had her hand in the passing lane.
And it's stolen right back.
Look at that scrum. Everybody on the floor.
Jump ball, Hopkins with a
Good
possession
job.
arrow.
This is great basketball. I'll tell you what, I love to see young people getting after it like that.
Number 45, O'Toole returns for Hopkins.
And Lakeville hasn't given up. It's just that things aren't dropping down for them right now. But they most certainly haven't given up. Lakeville with a little pressure of their own. Boy, look at that. Crossover, open, shot. Now they're going to try and run that 4-round one again. Look at that there.
Banham loses the ball.
The quickness and speed for Hopkins is just a bit too much for Lakeville right now.
Lakeville won a pair of state titles back when they were one school. For three, short. That was Weimer.
Boy, they're getting everything right now.
Coffee. No. But
All right, it's
Jaycox
1-2.
is there. Count it.
1, 2, 3 attempts at the basket. Lakeville needs to box out a little bit better than that and get the ball back. They're not going to seal on and let Hopkins shoot as many times as they want to. This is not good.
You have to think, especially for Lakeville North and for Hopkins, this will be a great learning tool as they move on to January and February.
Well, you know what? If I'm the Lakeville coach, I wouldn't even show this film to the kids. I'd kind of dump it. They're not playing well at all right now.
Well, this is going online. Jaycox with 9. Perkins. No good.
Boy, look at Hopkins.
The shots that Lakeville North does get don't seem to be going in either.
No. And there's nothing but blue all around the basket when the shot is up.
If Hopkins hangs on, well, the way they're playing right now, you think they march unchallenged to a state title, or early to say, or what are your thoughts on this?
Too early to say. You know, it's too early to say. There are just too many basketball teams out there. But right now, they're pretty good.
Jaycox with the triple.
I mean, it's not just one person contributing. Everyone is. Everybody's shooting the ball well. Everybody's playing good defense. It's just all over it.
Another Hopkins foul. It's on Williams.
Foul number 12 in a row. Brianna Williams for third. 5th team foul.
And another Hopkins foul. This time it's going against O'Toole. Hopkins out of fouls to give, but that's about the only thing they really have to be worried about. They're up by 29, 12:27 left, and Lakeville North struggling against this Hopkins pressure defense.
They need to put some things together and see if they can climb back in. They've got time.
And another Hopkins foul.
That's got to be taking its toll.
They run a 12-player rotation.
Kind of reminds you of St. Paul Johnson boys team, doesn't it?
You wonder if Hopkins looked at some film from the couple games we did last year. That St. Paul Johnson team was very impressive.
Yes.
And Cosgriff and Coach Vern over at Johnson, similar strategy. They're very calm, very low key. To them, one game at a time.
Yes.
They don't believe in a superstar.
One game at a time, one play at a time.
They pretty much tell their players, if you're on the varsity roster, expect to play. Vern Simmons and Brian Cosgriff, two very similar styles. And it led Johnson to their first state title in school history. And they've been at powerhouse in the St. Paul City Conference for years. And Hopkins proving again that they haven't lost their powerhouse status. O'Toole's going to the line.
You have to be impressed with what Hopkins is doing. See what happens. You can see what's going on. There must be a lot of competition right there in practice. I mean, practice, I bet you, is real interesting.
And you wondered, because there's so many players, if they motivate themselves just by seeing their teammates do so well. They become inspired to contribute.
No, they're working hard so they can get playing time.
Oh, that too.
That's what's going on now. Let's put it this way. You play for Hopkins right now, you better have a good health plan. You don't want to be sick and miss practice. You might lose your spot.
O'Toole again. This time loses it. In trouble. That's a foul? Is that a foul call? It looks that way.
Yes.
Yes.
Hopkins again.
And they're in the penalty in the game for Lakeville North.
Here's an opportunity for Lakeville to come back. There's only 11:45 left. Coaches is calling a timeout right now.
Lindsey Erstad in for the Panthers. But Lakeville North in the bonus here, but they still have a lot of work to do. And even if they get their free throws, they have to figure out a way to answer that full court press.
Absolutely.
And I'm baffled as to how you do that. Or Lakeville North certainly is, and the way Hopkins, they're so deep. I'd tell, if you put the Hopkins girls team and Johnson boys team together, I don't think you know the difference. Maybe the jersey colors.
Oh yeah, you.
Okay, so the jersey colors might give it away.
Well,
But
no, Johnson's. Those athletes are just some kind of players. I'll tell you what I'm impressed with is that coach for Hopkins has gotten their ball players to buy into defense. These kids sell out on defense, and I'm really happy to see that happen. They are great athletes, and they're pushing that ball, and they're hawking that ball, and that's fun basketball to me.
Stewart at the line, issue one in the bonus.
Lakeville North having free throw issues, as we mentioned many times before. Free throws never an automatic thing at the high school level. Shackelford blocked and stripped by Ojulu. Stewart finding Hughes. Banham can't get the runner, and a Lakeville North foul.
Foul number 15, number fourth Lakeville team foul.
William, that's Jay Cox again for three. Can't put it down. Williams with the strip.
Hands are just, they're just right
Hopkins
now.
putting a clinic on the Panthers.
He's not letting up either. He's just bearing down.
We could be approaching mercy rule range.
Well, there's no doubt it's there.
It's 35 or more.
Amanda Goodwin returns.
Here's the deal. He's keeping this pressure on Eden Prairie, and he's not doing it to run up the score. He has all these players, and it's just, business as usual. So, and I think Lakeville knows it. If he were to drop back in the half court, these kids would be playing hard there too. It's early in the season. He's trying to get his defense together, and Hopkins is working real hard. Tell you what,
Is Hudson.
these free throws, my goodness, both teams are not very good at that.
Struggling today.
Oh. Well, if you remember last year's championship game, boys championship game against Johnson and
Grand Rapids.
Grand Rapids was making their free throws at the end and almost came back and beat them. Free throws are going to be real important to this team going down the stretch. You better start making them.
Double dribble. Lakeville North ball.
Doesn't seem to phase them. They're going to come back and play some more defense.
Holman in trouble and gets the roll.
Holman for 2.
Her first basket of the game. Anderson with numbers. No foul. Rebound, no putback. Lakeville North takes possession. Now it's a jump ball. Lakeville North will keep it because they have the possession arrow. 9:57 to go. Oh, that was ill-advised. Not when your team's doing that. But Stewart gets redemption with her own steal. He gets the charge.
She's waiting for taking charges. Here they are, just ahead, and they're just bringing it tough. I'll tell you what.
Hopkins just doesn't let up.
Not one iota.
They'll certainly be the favorite to win the 4A state title now.
Well, it's a long ways away till March. Anything can happen. Lakeville's not blocking out at all. Lakeville's not putting a body on them. They're not pushing them out of that hole. And Hopkins is getting opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. This does not look well for Lakeville. They need to go back to the drawing board and keep them off the board.
And this was a team that took down De La Salle, one of 3A's top schools, Lakeville North that is, just 2 days ago.
Well, they're looking at Hopkins right now.
They're seeing a much different story.
They're playing the big boys, and the big boys are bringing it to them.
This might be the coming down to earth ceremony for the Lakeville North Panthers, who have not lost a match in 35 straight games. Hudson adds 2 more. Banham can't get the runner. Ojulu with the board.
That's a bad shot there. She was off balance when she shot that. They're just out-quicking them the whole 9 yards.
Cosgrove calls timeout, 8:47 left.
He's not happy with his offense.
Well, of course. He's not going to let up just because he's up by 31.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's the Achilles tendon. I mean, all we've been seeing is defense in transition. When it comes down to it, and you force them to play half-court offense, they are not prepared to do that right now. That's why he's calling the timeout. A good team will negate that by, one, boxing them off the floor, off the boards, and keeping them from getting the ball once or more times, and two, going down and making good decisions on the offensive end. Hopkins is beatable here. They're just outplaying Lakeville today.
There's no rule saying these two teams couldn't meet again, and certainly Hopkins will have a long way to go themselves. This is only the first week of the season.
You know, there's always that team in southern Minnesota or northern Minnesota that no one knows about. They come up and do it. But right now, Lakeville's this is not their day, period.
Number 14, Goodman first. 8 D-ball.
No free throw, and it's picked up by Lakeville
See what
North.
I mean? They're missing free throws.
Missing free throws, and like you said, Lakeville or Hopkins not as crisp in set offenses.
No. But look at that, one and done. You have to be impressed with their defense.
And it's worth pointing out because when folks go to the newspaper, they'll read the box score and they'll think, oh, Hopkins was on all cylinders. They'll think they're the #1 favorite. They certainly will be, and that pressure defense certainly helped them. But there's a couple things that Cosgriff is going to look at when he watches this tape and tells his team, this is what we have to work on. This
Look at
isn't
that, another
ours
miss.
yet.
Another minute. Coach cannot be happy with these missed free throws. I mean, I bet you it's approaching double figures as to how many free throws they've missed tonight. Look at that. Wow.
And you have to think that's something opponents who face Hopkins, especially in the state tournament, are going to look at
Oh, yeah.
when they see this on tape.
I mean, there's all kinds of ways to beat good teams. But right now, watch out for that defense because it's coming at you.
Livingston with 8. And you know Lakeville North will bounce back. The expectation was if they got to the state tournament again, as Goodman cleans up the mess there, they wouldn't go undefeated. But neither was St. Paul Central. They won 2 in a row. They were undefeated in 07, lost a few games in 08, surprised everybody.
That's true, but you see, St. Paul Central was good. I mean, they had the studs to do it for 3 years. I mean, this is remnants of the St. Paul Central team that won the state tournament the 3rd year that they won it. I mean, a bunch of athletes just playing, you know.
Bantam, no good. Ojulu gets the bounce. Bantam and
Lakeville's still playing. I mean, they're still playing.
well, they're not going to give up either.
No, heavens no.
I mean, Andy Bertram told me before this game it was essentially a measuring stick. A win would be nice, but neither coach was really looking at this.
It's December.
Yes, they both told me it's December. We're not going to learn much about our teams just yet.
No. Oh, he learned one thing. he'll be doing a little more sprints. He'll be working a little bit harder. And now they'll look to take care of the ball a little bit better.
Weimer at the line
and Hopkins, of course, they look at these free throws. That can't be good.
And again, the set offenses. Hopkins prefers the transition. That's where they make most of their damage.
Right.
4 for Weimer. 7 minutes remaining. You can tell Lakeville North just flustered.
Yes.
Not comfortable in the court. Ojulu draws the foul. Well, it's worth mentioning, since we talked about this team already, the St. Paul Central, they had that undefeated team, had a 34-game winning streak going from the third-place game in the 06 tournament to the Pat Patterson tournament. They lost to Centennial, and that streak came to a close.
Yes.
Lakeville North, their streak at 35 will end here. They eclipsed Central's mark by 1, but for the Panthers, kind of a regroup, refocus, and a reminder that just because you won state doesn't make you invincible.
Streaks are nice, but, they're not everything. Winning the state tournament, what happens in March? Let's get to March.
And the focus for Lakeville North now, these last 6 minutes, 45 seconds, how do they approach this? Because obviously there's going to be another game, and this is only a December match.
Are they in the same conference, or is the Hopkins in the old
Hopkins is still in the Lake.
Old
or actually, I think they're Northwest
Classic
Suburban.
Lake or whatever? Or, I don't know.
Yeah, or what the remade Lake.
Right.
Lakeville North got moved to the South Suburban.
South Suburban, huh?
Which took most of the old Lake teams. They added Prior Lake, Chaska, and Chanhassen split, as did Eden Prairie. Bantam gets the switch.
Just keeping them from doing the mercy rule and keeping running and just playing, Lakeville's doing some good things. It's just, tonight's not their night. That's just it. I look for Lakeville to do a lot better.
And Bantam with the backdoor cut, like you said, just to Belander. Not giving up. And Lakeville now draws a foul, the Panthers.
Absolutely. People getting in foul trouble.
That was just a turnover. No foul was called. I correct myself there.
It's not in Lakeville's DNA to go ahead and give up. That's it, period.
And when Andy Bergvam, when he looks back at this game, that's what he's going to remember. Obviously, Hopkins and the pressure, they're going to find a way to work on that. But when you look at this team, just seeing that they're not giving up, they're going to make Hopkins fight, even when they're ahead by 25 points.
Absolutely.
And it's that kind of effort, that determination, that can make or break you later on in the season. I think it's going to make Lakeville North. And a three-pointer by Hughes. A little run here by the Panthers.
Well, yeah. It's not over yet. They have to block out. They have to block out.
Kalander picks up the missed shot. She has a one-on-one. Can't get the bounce.
Not a good shot. Yep.
Traveling violation on Coffey. Hopkins, they're not getting complacent, but they're having a few miscues as of late.
They're making mistakes. They're making mistakes. And I think you're wrong. I think they are getting complacent. And they're starting to make some mistakes.
Oh, that's okay. In the broadcast booth, you can challenge your partners.
Absolutely.
And Bantam challenges, gets the mid-range switch again. She's having a pretty good night with 18 points. It's just, until now, Lakeville North just really couldn't string much together.
They were down 30. Now we're down what? 20? See?
They were down 71-40 and now have gone on an 11-0 run.
With 5 minutes left to go, I mean, things can happen.
Shackelford stops, pops, swish. But just, a little stretch. 11-0, even if Lakeville North doesn't make a comeback here, it's like, what did we do well? Well, we made things interesting. Well, we got a little rhythm going.
Oh, absolutely.
Shackelford open again. She'll get 2 more.
Shackelford from Livingston.
I'm looking at this. All but one of Hopkins' roster that has taken action tonight has scored 4 points or more.
Well, here's something interesting. Just this last segment, the point guards were having a tough time coming up on the floor. This guard, number 15, is coming up, and she's bringing it up, and she's doing well.
That's Rachel Banham. She's the University of Minnesota recruits, considered
There you have it.
best player in this year's senior class, and the breakdown jokingly saying that Banham is going to give Pam Borton job security.
Could be.
Could be, although Borton doing well with the Young Gophers team. The effort that was criticized for not showing up last year is there this year, but that's another story.
Well, she makes her free throws.
And Banham was a big factor for Lakeville North's win last year over White Bear Lake. You jinxed her.
I know I did. Sorry.
Anderson, too strong. And
Okay,
O'Shea
here they
with the
come
ball.
back again. Watch how she comes up.
Banham, no.
No, that's not a good shot. The ref, that was too hurried.
Shackelford open. Now she'll take it. Short. And Lakeville North lets it run out of bounds.
Hopkins can't be happy about that shot.
Pressure defense again by Hopkins. Hughes feeds
She's
to
open.
Ojulu, and she gets the layup. 15 for Ojulu. And that 1-2-10 for Lakeville North, showing their stuff now.
There's a trap there, huh?
And a timeout by Cosgriff. And that's the thing. Lakeville North is not going to win this game, not with a 21-point deficit. But even if they come out, they close that margin, they win that last segment. That is something Lakeville North and Hopkins are both going to remember if they play each other again.
I'll tell you what. I'm impressed with the way Lakeville's hanging in there right now, just playing tough. And that's correct, what you're saying.
They may not win the battle, but they'll win a segment.
That's right. But you know, remember I said, the last 4 minutes, it's a strange old dog. It'll show up.
Especially in December.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm glad you're going to be on board for a few of these games in the boys version of the Tip-Off Classic. I know you were talking about me a few years ago, like, why aren't you doing any boys games? Well, here we are.
That'd be fun to watch the boys play.
A lot of big-name schools in that, too. That's going to be over at Minnetonka December 11th. And again, because this event has expanded so much, Minnetonka has multiple courts, and they need that to house all the teams that are coming in.
Yes. Oh, my goodness. Nice play.
And you see what happens when you don't give up. Hughes saw
Yes.
that Erstad tripped, and so she stepped up, forced that deflection, making Hopkins think a little bit more.
Well, it's called team.
And there's no I, right?
Yes, but there's an M and an E.
Oh, boy. Jaycock, she's had a big night.
Yes, she is.
12 points. Hopkins, is this the up-tempo version of killing the clock?
I think all he's trying to do is he's trying to run his offense, and what he's done is added some more touches, which is perfectly normal. He's probably asking for 8-9 touches before you go towards the basket.
Instead of 4 or 5 like before.
That's correct.
Calander. Whoops.
See, good defense will do that to you. You know, when you start seeing it, you know, the ball hitting the bleachers way out of bounds, or like this one, the curtain high, that's great defense. And I like seeing that stuff, by the way.
Jay Cox takes it herself.
Well, there goes the touches theory.
Coast to coast. That's one way to get around it. And they're still attacking Lakeville North.
They're not going to stop because, see, there's other people on the bench that want to play, so they better play hard, otherwise they might lose their spot on the floor.
Ojulu to Banham. Tough angle. And another poke. Lakeville North not going away. I mean, the fact that they were close to mercy rule range and then they came back, you know, got a little run and stopped it from happening, that's something to build on. As again, it's a December match. This is a measuring stick. The first season, as you've pointed out many times.
Absolutely.
Traveling call on Coffey. About the only mistake she's made all game. These games, these non-conference games against these marquee opponents are designed to show what your team does well and what they need to work on when they get into conference play in the next few weeks. They're still fun to watch, but it's still very early.
Yes.
Kalander had a great feed, but couldn't finish. Coffey, now draws the foul. I thought she was stripped, but Stewart wasn't all ball.
Foul number 32, Stewart for fourth.
Let's just face it, it's not Lakeville's night.
Not this time. Coffey.
I am impressed with Hopkins, though. I mean, their defense sets the tone, and if you want to win championships, you need defense.
Coffey, the Marist recruits, makes both. Hopkins. Stewart, I think she's got 2.5 there. But she gets 2 points. She has 8. And Hopkins turns it over. And I was saying with Hopkins, they've always been a favorite as a contender, always on that short list. The last few years, they had to deal with Minneapolis South and a certain player who's at Ohio State.
Yeah, but that certain player at Ohio State had to deal with Central.
Jump ball, Hopkins possession. They haven't been to the state tournament since they last won it in 06, so they've been out of it for what would be a 5-year absence. It's been 4 straight years that Hopkins has not made the big dance.
I don't think they'll have that problem this year. Split that.
Section pairing's always a big deal.
Absolutely.
It depends on who Hopkins gets paired up with in their section, how their section holds up.
Who's in their section, by the way?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I haven't followed Hopkins that long. This is my first Hopkins game.
Hopkins in the double bonus, Coffey to shoot 2.
But even if you get past the sections, there's still state to deal with.
Yes.
And that's when everything is on the line. Lakeville North could be a contender. We've seen a few other favorites today. Eden Prairie, you know they're going to be a lot better in March than they are now. Every team will be. And St. Paul Central could be a sleeper.
St. Paul Central, I don't think, is in the big school region either.
They're still 4A. I spoke with Willie Taylor about that. Well, he won two straight state titles, and he told me, "You think they're going to put me down in 3A after doing that?"
Oh, because I think their boys are 3A.
Their boys are at 3A. Hannah Hughes with another triple.
Hughes for three.
Their boys are at 3A, but the girls are still a 4A program, and now we're emptying the benches,
Yeah,
it looks like, for the timeout.
yeah.
And again, he won 2 titles in a row. And so he told me, they're not going to drop me down because I just won 2 straight titles. They saw Central as a competitive school.
Well,
And they're coming back this year.
yes, and another thing too, Central is the largest high school, populous high school in the city of St. Paul. So I could see that happening. No, he's still trying to win this thing. He called a timeout to set up his defense, and this is what he's supposed to do. As a coach, you don't give up. Let's keep working on the things that we do. I admire that in him.
He does send in one
trying-
reserve.
We're trying to win this thing. Let's play ball.
Aaron O'Toole.
Look at that.
Banham with the steal. Finding her stab, but she can't finish it. Look at this.
Yeah.
Even in the last minutes.
Yeah, and they're losing, and they're not doing well. But doggone it, like I said, it's not in
You could tell that they were losing just the way they're playing.
No, it's not in Lakeville's DNA to give up. It's just that Hopkins just out executed them right now. That's all. And they played a very fine game today.
Stewart draws the foul. We'll get 2 free throws.
Driving to the basket, getting the tough foul. It's all, if you didn't look at the score, you'd think they're down 1 point or it's tied. I mean,
A lesser team would have packed it up by
absolutely.
now. Not Lakeville North. But
The manager would be packing in the towels, and bags would be all packed in the back of the bench there,
And that's the thing. They both saw this as a measuring stick, and when you're using this to measure your teams, you're not going to give up because you only have 36 minutes to learn about yourself.
And like Coach said, it's December.
How many times have we said that today?
Well, and here's the deal.
But you're right.
Lakeville, like I said, it's not in their DNA. They're going to look at this game, and they're not going to like what's happened to them. That's the thing you like about these athletes. They're going to show ownership about what happened here. Coach won't have to say much to him. He's going to tell you, hey, you know what, you got to do this wrong. And then I can see what practice is going to be. Hey, remember what happened to you against Hopkins? Yep. Okay.
Great feed from Ojula with a give and go to Banham, and she goes to the line. Like you said, if we took away the scoreboard, you'd think this is a 1-possession game.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you this, if the crowd this big for a regular season game in December, if these 2 teams play each other in the final, you think Target Center sells out?
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
You give Leah a call. Maybe you can get her or find a way to join the 45 team if that happens. Banham with 20. She's had a good night individually. And the Hopkins fans chanting their school and their nickname. They know they have ended Lakeville North's 35-game winning streak in a big way.
Look, Hopkins is not fouling. They're just working hard.
And Banham, you see what happens? They're not giving up, and Banham gets 2 more points, and that is something that Andy Berkham's going to take away. He may not like that he lost, but he is going to appreciate that his team kept fighting to win those little segments.
Well, absolutely.
It was 31 points. They cut it to 19. Hopkins will win 83-64, which ironically was the same score that St. Paul Central beat Minneapolis South in 3 years ago in the Twin Cities game. But again, it's December, a long way to go. And what we saw, just a measuring stick. We know Hopkins is good, ready for that pressure.
I can see Lakeville now saying to his ball players in practice, Try to remember what happened in December. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. Because this is nothing but a measuring stick, and they will be back.
But this was a fun measuring stick. This is the best measurement you could ask for.
Absolutely. I love it. I mean, Lakeville didn't capitalize on a few things, and they didn't execute that early in the game.
But they won that
But
last segment.
kudos to Hopkins. Hopkins was magnificent. If I had to go ahead and be, if any kind of criticism, it is their free throws. Their free throws is going to be their Achilles tendon.
Keep them, like you said, it's December. If these teams improve on what we saw tonight, March could be fireworks.
Oh, absolutely. It could be very exciting.
Well, this was a very exciting game. Lakeville North, their 35-game winning streak comes to an end against Hopkins, 83-64, but we saw a fantastic example of what could be a possible state tournament preview.
Absolutely.
Well, that does it from here. With Broderick Bell and everyone else here at Community Hoops and TSB Television, I'm Mike Peden. Thank you for watching.